They call him Seatin, the man of legends.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Seatin. Welcome to an exciting video in which today we're going to be talking about the best 1v1 specs in Archeage, mainly for the purpose of the Gladiator Arena, which is the 1v1 arena in Archeage. And it is an amazing way to farm honor at endgame for, like, I don't know, best in slot lunar stones, lunar gems, storm data, and a ton of other stuff that you can buy from honor in the game. So, we're going to be basically narrowing it down to 3 specs. I mean, other specs do work in 1v1 arena, but from what I've seen, these 3 specs are kind of dominant over every other spec, because they each possess tools to tackle pretty much every and any combo. I mean, in other certain combos, you know, you limit yourself to having a giant weakness against X or Y class, whereas these combos can pretty much deal with anything thrown at them. Now, the 3 combos are very simply, for those of you who don't want to get too invested in this video, are Stonearrow, Shadowblade, and also Daggerspell. Now, those 3 combos are basically, well, there's a melee, there's a ranged, and there is also a caster. Now, we're going to explain why these combos are just so damn good in 1v1 arena, starting off with the Stonearrow. Now, a lot of people believe that Primeval is the flavor of the month, best in the world archery spec, which is completely incorrect information. Apart from maybe in the rare scenario where you have a really large Zerg bombing guild, then it's kind of the better archery spec just for sort of the meditate and also movement abilities that you do have. But when it comes to 1v1, the Stonearrow has a lot more defensive capabilities, with cooldowns such as Redoubt. Literally, it gives you a, Redoubt combined with a passive of Supplemental Block gives you a block rate of about 52% for 20 seconds, and that is just huge when you're engaging on somebody in arena. So if you're against any sort of, you know, like melee class, you're going to be blocking pretty much like 50% of their attacks, and then you have your parry and evasion chance. So it's basically like Primeval, but you have this huge damage mitigation cooldown to use against other archery classes, such as Primeval and Trickster, and also any melee that come against you. Redoubt also prevents you from being pushed or knocked down, and that is one of Primeval's biggest weakness. I mean, if you get down on the floor, then you are going to be absolutely owned with the damage that, like, a Dark Runner or Shadowblade or Blighter or Defiler can throw at you. Not Defiler, I got one of those names wrong. But basically anything with Battlerage can just own you if you get knocked down. However, Redoubt gives you the tools to deal with not being knocked down, so that's pretty damn awesome. And also, you have Boastful Roar, which just adds to the kiting capability that you have. It's a 45% snare for 7 seconds, and with like 3000 metal, which is easily acquired, deals just a crap ton of damage. So that is really good. And basically, Stonearrow relies on you being constantly at the maxed range you can from the ability. The enemy. You want to be as far away as the enemy as you possibly can be. So you kind of want to be dancing on 28 meters, and usually if you don't let anybody gap close you, kind of like 20 meters or lower, you don't let anybody come near, then congratulations, you've won as a Stonearrow. It's pretty easy to deal with, and you will pretty much own any other archery combination anytime you want. So basically, Stonearrow is definitely the go-to flavor of the month archery spec for 1v1. Would totally recommend it for anybody that's, you know, struggling as a Primeval or maybe a Trickster. I'd say that Trickster kind of compares with Stonearrow in terms of its capability. However, it is a bit dodgy playing around with Witchcraft, because a lot of that stuff does require you to be in close range, and you can easily get gibbed. However, I'd say Trickster is more sort of effective against like casters and in particularly dagger spells, which we're going to talk about. So the next skill set that we're going to be talking about that I believe is OP is Shadowblade. So that is the mixture of Battlerage, Shadowplay, and Witchcraft. Now this is just so good because you have so much CC and so much counter to pretty much the only class that can break like a Dark Runner, which is Daggerspell. So you have the fear immunity, you have like a purge, a silence, you basically just have it all, and it's just an amazing counter to pretty much any class. If you play the CC off right, then your opponents can pretty much be permanently CC'd, and the damage that you are dealing in this spec is still just insane. I mean, you have Battlerage and Shadowplay at its core, so the damage is just unreal. You have immunity to a ton of CC, and it's an absolutely brilliant spec. However, it does require a lot more practice than the Stonearrow would, for example. It will take you a good 50 or so arena matches to actually master playing Shadowblade. So don't expect it to be one of those specs that you pick up and you're like, bam, I'm instantly god with this spec. That won't work. You do really need to learn how to sort of play the combos off each other, and how and when to use sort of your damaging abilities in between the CC that you're throwing out. So that's pretty damn cool. Now the final one that I'm going to talk about is Primeval. Now Primeval has been thrown around as the flavor of the month best spec for just ages, and it really is. Literally, as a, sorry, not Primeval, what am I on about? Daggerspell, that's the one, Daggerspell. So that's the caster spec. Now, Daggerspell is just amazing. Like, literally, if you can gap close, get in 20 meters of the target, and start firing off your chain CC, you have won. Like, it is just crazy, crazy good. And there is just pretty much no way, once you're sort of in the CC combo of a Daggerspell, for most classes at least, to break out. Like, it is just absolutely ridiculous. Daggerspell, again, it's not one of those specs that you can pick up and instantly be amazing at. It does take a lot of practice with the combos, but once you have mastered it, literally you can win just constantly, unless you are against a really, really good either Shadowblade or Stonearrow that can just kite you to infinity. So that's pretty much it, guys. I mean, links to the specs I will try to provide in the description. I mean, the Stonearrow spec that I am using personally, it's kind of hard to say this is the definitive best spec, but from my experience this is the best Stonearrow one. Pox Kappa, you know, the guy with the amazing afro, has a brilliant guide to Daggerspell that you should probably check out, and I will have to find some sort of Shadowblade guide, because yeah, I don't know where one of those is at the moment, but I will search the corners of the internet until I find one for you fine ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed the video, maybe learn a thing or two. If you did enjoy it, leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Apart from that, take care and have a wonderful day.